might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. Rain is clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.
BELLE, a street circuit that doesn't forgive, doesn't negotiate, and never ever lets you relax. Tonight, the Freedom Motorsport Alliance Alpha Reinforcing GT3 Series rolls into Detroit's Island Battleground for 45 minutes of pure hostility, where concrete walls define the limits and bravery defines the frontrunners. BELLE isn't a track you learn, it's a track you survive. Fast straights, violent bumps, blind entries, and the ever-present threat of the wall waiting to punish even the smallest lapse in judgment. The grid is stacked, the engines are snarling, GT3's tuned for war, one mandatory pit stop, sits like a landmine in the middle of the strategy game. Hit it perfectly and you gain seconds. Miss it and you lose everything. Tire wear will bite, fuel windows will tighten, and traffic will turn every lap into a negotiation with chaos. This is where champions show their nerve, where midfield fighters become heroes, and where one mistake can turn a contender into a caution flag. BELLE is ready. The Freedom Motorsports Alliance is ready. This is the Alpha Reinforcing GT3 Series. And now, the island demands its tribute. Welcome in. This is Racers Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. In the booth with me, as usual, is Mr. Richard Swindells. Welcome into Detroit. Rich, a track that both of us we're big fans of the street circuits, so we're glad to be here on this one.
Yes. One of my favorite tracks on the service, as are most of the street circuits, but this one's just a special place in my heart, Rob. It's the closest one to our hometown, and I've raced many a race here, and usually done well, not because of pace, because of issues. But yeah, tonight, BELLE 2.33 mile circuit, 14 corners. Looks like temperature's 29 degrees Celsius, 84 degrees Fahrenheit. We're 578 degrees. 578 degrees. Boy, that'd be a lot of degrees. And we're 578 feet of elevation. So, no rain in the forecast, which is unfortunate, but it's going to be a great race nonetheless, I think.
Yeah, could you imagine the chaos? We threw some rain out there on the streets of Detroit here. Well, I guess technically it's Detroit, but it's the island across the river. But let's take a look at the calendar as we're getting near the end of the season here, Rich. Next week, we're going to be heading to Sebring. I got to change that. I keep forgetting to change that. It's not Brands Hatch, but it is Sebring next week. And I believe that is going to be a rain race. So we're not seeing the rain here this week at BELLE, but next week we will see some rain. But this race brought to you by Sasha Andrick for round 10. Round 11 is going to be Sebring. We're going to wrap things up in 2 weeks' time. I guess it's 3 weeks' time at Bathurst Mount Panorama, Rich.
No, 2 weeks' time, Rob. You did it right the first time, but that's okay. Yeah, 31st, so we're on the 17th.
I get
17th already.
2 weeks, 3 races from here. I think that's what was throwing me up. 3 races left because we still have this one. That's where I was falling my face.
It's math is tough on a Monday night.
It is. Nobody wants to work on Mondays, let alone do math on Monday nights. But we're in the middle of qualifying. Let's take a look at the format. Usual format, 80 minutes of practice. That's done. They had their time to get that in. Qualifying 3 laps within the first. They only have 10 minutes. So 3 laps in that 10-minute time span, and then 45-minute race coming their way. No fast repairs. That's going to be tough here at BELLE. We're going to see a number of cars wrecking up against the wall. 20 points will net them a drive-through penalty. Another 10 after that will be another drive-through penalty. 60% the maximum fuel they're allowed to carry, and it is fixed setup. Well, Rich, let's take a look at the championship standings coming into this one. Why don't you take us through the pro category?
Yeah, in the pro category, Marshall Crocker Jr., 27, pretty good lead, 27-point lead over Alex Jacobson, who's also got himself a huge lead over Anthony Jenkins in third. Chris Lashbrook's in fourth, Chase Matsko fifth. Mark Nelson, welcome back to GT3 Racing, had himself a decent season, as is Ryder Poe in seventh.
And then over in Pro-Am, Kyle Mavis, who we didn't see last week, so that gap has closed a little bit. Jeremy Eshelman now only 17 points back of him, sitting in second place. Anthony Bronco fell down. He wasn't here last week as well. Matt Mars took the win in class, so he closed that gap a little bit. He's going to need a little bit of helping hand here this week to try and close that gap even further. But how are things looking in the AM class, Rich?
Yeah, in the amateur class, Jacob Williams got his first win this season and keeps liking getting wins. So Jacob Williams in first place. Justin Moskowitz 39 points back in second. Alex Berger just a couple points behind him, so a good close battle for second. Mark Ossier, a model of consistency, in fourth, along with Nigel Steele in fifth.
And then we have our teams championship where we see Iron Horse Motorsports. I really fumbled that one, Rich. Leading the way, 53 points ahead of Threshold Motorsports and Mid Advantage. They were looking competitive, possibly getting up into that second spot a little earlier on, but they've fallen back. What's that, about 26 points or so, 27 points? Again, trying to do math here on a Monday, Rich. But they get a comfortable lead over Warped Esports in fourth, and FR Racing 1 going to round out our top 5. But speaking of rounding things out, it looks like qualifying has just finished up here. We'll let the grid reset, Rich, and then we'll take a look at the qualifying results. But what are you expecting to see here into turn 1? Could be a tricky couple set of corners with almost 30 cars on track.
Yeah, turn 1's going to be real interesting, but I think the big issue is going to be turn 3, Rob. The long straightaway with a 90-degree right-hander. Something's going to happen there. The really tricky part to me on this course is turn 3, and of course, the finish, the last corner, or sorry, turn 1 and turn 2 is kind of tricky, especially on cold tires. But I think we may be able to get through that cleanly. We've only got 27 cars here tonight.
You're putting it on the line there now, putting your neck out there, Rich. We'll see how good your prediction is. But as we head to the grid, we see Marshall Crocker Jr. taking top spot ahead of Chris Lashbrook, who's been on a tear the last couple weeks. He's going to start to his outside on row 1. David Bush III going to start in third place on the second row. He'll have Chase Matsko, who's had a nice back half of the season too as well, in fourth place. And their top Pro-Am driver, Anthony Barranco, going to start in fifth place. He'll have Colin McKenzie to his outside in, I believe, the lone Acura in the field. In seventh place, we're going to find Mark Nelson with Jacob Williams, our top AM driver, to his outside. And then right out the top 10 is going to be Amrit Vestrala and Timothy Dunn in the McLaren.
At 11th place, we've got Justin Moskowitz, and in 12th, Jeremy Eshelman. On row 7, we've got Nathan Fuller. and Stilo and Alexander Berger in 14th. Row 8, we've got Nigel Steely and Cody Deek. In 17th place, Anthony Jenkins and Paxton Frith in 18th. On row 10, rounding out your top 20, we've got Joshua Dufresne and Curtis Kinnicker.
21st place, we're going to find Adam Lowe and then Matt Mars in the Aston this week, Rich. In 22nd place, I'm surprised we didn't see him in the Lambo. We talked to him before. The Lambo works well for him on street circuits. A surprising chain of events there. 23rd place is going to be Alex Jacobson. Then Kyle Mavis, our Pro-Am Championship leader, didn't put in a time starting at 24th. He's got his work cut out for him. Mark Ossier in 25th. PJ Wentline in 27th. And then rounding out the field is going to be Michael Lemanchek, although it looks like Alex Jacobson did not grid up here, Rich. So possible pit lane start for him, or I wonder if maybe he had some kind of hardware issue and isn't going to be hitting the grid tonight.
Yeah, quite a number of drivers didn't set a time. I'm guessing maybe one or two of them were deliberately not setting a time, and I think maybe a few others may have tapped a wall, because it's quite easy to do that here at Belle Isle as we're taking a look at the pace car. Marshall Crocker Jr. in his Ferrari / Ford / whatever, as long as we can put a horse on it, we'll call it part of our team. And Chris Lashbrook also in the Ford, so right behind them, Chase Matsko, real impressive season, and he's trying to show off here tonight. He's got a little competition, another league admin from another league racing a little bit behind him in the Acuras. So Chase wants to show them that, yeah, he does have some skill in his own league, even if he doesn't in others. So here we go, Rob. Here we go. Going down into turn 1, Marshall Crocker Jr. getting a jump there. Chris Lashbrook in behind. They're going too wide in behind them. David Bush III, Chase Matsko. And so far, it looks like everybody getting through turns 1, turns 2 relatively cleanly. Anthony Barinko, take a look here. Timothy Dunn, they're going 2, 3 wide. This is where it's going to get close and tight going into turn 3.
Yeah, surprising. It looks like everybody kind of made it through it. A couple cars losing positions here. But speaking of losing positions, Matt Mars already pulled off to the side here. I'm hearing him on comms. Not quite hearing what he's saying, though, but looks like he's given up a ton of positions here. Was up 6 spots early on, Rich.
Yeah, he got a black flag for something, it looks like. 1.4 second slowdown. So hard to get a slowdown early on, but Matt Mars unfortunately managed to do that. But up at the front, Marshall Crocker Jr. off to a good jump. He's got 3/4 of a second gap over Chris Lashbrook following him behind. Chase Matsko up 1 position, getting by David Bush III. So Chase is in 3rd. David Bush III in 4th. Colin McKenzie also up 1 position, getting 1 by Anthony Baranko, but deeper in the field. Justin Moskowitz sitting in there 13th place. He's down 2. Trying to get that Corvette tires up to temp. This is a tricky section here. Look at some of the cars up using a little more curb than Justin, but Justin getting through cleanly. Now it's got that Corvette working well, it looks like.
Yeah, he's down 2 spots. Not the start he was probably envisioning here, but second in AM class. But Jacob Williams doing exactly what he needs to do here to try and put his stamp on this AM class championship, Rich. He is in 8th place overall. Justin Moskowitz, who's in 2nd in class, back in 13th place. So that's a bit of a gap between them. Same kind of difference there between Anthony Baranko, our top Pro-Am driver, in 6th place, who he's 4 spots up on Timothy Dunn, who, as we pop back to him on the first lap, was mired in a battle here with Amber Fistrala, who's still engaged here. Fistrala, rough race last week. We'll see if he can bounce back in the Ford Mustang here tonight with that chrome, black, and purple paint scheme. It's a sharp-looking car out there on the grid.
It certainly is. Man, I wish I had enough money to put all that gold leaf all over the front end of my car. Whoa, getting real close there was Amber Fistrala, almost getting into the back of Jacob Williams. He certainly had a great exit, but unfortunately for Everett, and nowhere to go for him. Just tucking right into the back. Hey, this section you don't want to be too aggressive on, not at all. But speaking of not wanting to get aggressive, Alexander Berger getting past there by was it Justin Moskowitz, if I'm looking correctly?
Yes.
Or maybe I missed something. Yeah, that was quite impressive.
You know what else is impressive? Kyle Mavis, who I said didn't put in a time, Rich, started on the second to last row. He's already up 9 spots into 15th place. Our Pro-Am Championship leader, that's going to put him 5th in class right now. So maybe starting at the back may have been the wise choice, trying to stay out of the carnage that kicked off early on. Although I'm looking at timing and scoring, there wasn't really anything that happened. Where some drivers passed, probably a few drivers kissed the wall here, Rich, but no real track blocking maneuvers there, as we see Mavis pick up another spot as he moves around Alexander Berger.
I mean, I'm happy for the racers, but I'm disappointed for ourselves, to be honest with you. I mean, looking at all those moves that Kyle Maves has made, I don't know if you saw any of it, but we had a brand new IndyCar race in our area of town, the Markham Indy, just outside of Toronto. And my God, the moves these guys are making on that street circuit. Kyle Mavis must have taken some lessons, or must have given them some lessons, because that's the kind of passing Kyle Mavis is doing that they were doing in the Indy cars this weekend.
I don't know. What did you think of that track, Rich? I thought it was...
Loved it. Loved it. I mean, the passes they were making were incredible. The hairpin was a little off, but otherwise, I mean, the guys are making some incredible passes, and the drivers seem to like it, except for maybe that hairpin.
I thought it was an abomination of a track. I hope it never heads back there again anytime soon.
It always is. They got the contract. It's done. It's done because Toronto didn't want it, the losers. I used to go to that Toronto Indy many years in a row, but they just wouldn't commit to a deal. So we'll see. Anyhow, back to live action, folks. Enough of my opinions. Enough of Rob's opinions. We're going to go back to facts. And facts are Chris Lashbrook is in second place, but Marshall Crocker Jr.'s got a second half gap on him right now. Chris Lashbrook doing solid, though. He's got about a second gap over Chase Matsko. Uh-oh, replay.
Yeah, let's see what happened to PJ Wentline. He was flagged for a crash. Sometimes it just comes to a stop here on track. Oh, man, heavy hit into the wall for that Corvette. That's going to be a rough one for him. He's going to have to tow back, but it looks like something happened to our AM leader, Jacob Williams. He's now fallen down to 15th place. He had a commanding lead in class. We see Timothy Dunn looks up the inside. Oh, Dunn gets up on the curb. That forces Williams out wide, a little kiss to the wall, and unfortunately another car's mistake is going to cost him his lead spot in class. We'll see if he's able to work himself back up. It looks like something might have happened to Paxton Frith and Matt Mars. So it was clean to start the race here, Rich. Looks like all of our drivers starting to get wrapped up in incidents here now.
Yeah, well, ooh. Wow. I mean, were they 3 feet apart when they hit each other?
I'm not sure what happened there, but netcode might have played a role, unfortunately, for our two Astons on track. The only two Astons on the grid here, Rich, managed to find themselves put each other into the wall.
Yeah, they were magnets for each other. Aston Martin, a great looking car, but those cars are damaged quite severely. You take a look here at Anthony Barenko in 6th place, down 1 position. Fight to get that back for the man who took it from him, Colin McKenzie, who is he got that position, and they've just kind of been falling around now for the last 4.5 laps since that happened. They're on lap 5 now. We got just over 38.5 minutes left of this 45-minute race. Coming down, this is always a tricky corner. You got to get your braking right, but if you want to do a good lap, you got to use all that track, get right out to the curb, and just lightly trail brake correctly. You get it wrong, and man, oh man, it's a bad situation. But Colin McKenzie coming around here, this also corner here, very, very bumpy. You got to get right out to the wall. And another fairly long straightaway here, even though it's not totally straight, but you're foot to the floor until you get into the braking zone here. Colin McKenzie going along with Anthony Brink behind him, David Bush III up ahead. So two drivers and very much used to racing each other, McKenzie and Bush III. We follow them on Tuesday nights usually. Nice to see them racing here with us at FMA on Monday.
Absolutely. We'll catch them tomorrow night, where we'll see Matt Mars cross over into that league. I'd love to see more and more drivers across the channel here jump into all the different leagues and just kind of see. It's always interesting to see how competitive the drivers are from one league to another, because you never really know what kind of the skill set is. You can look at the I ratings of the drivers, Rich, but you know what, I rating in leagues doesn't necessarily tell you the full story.
No, definitely not. I think my last official was, I don't know, close to 2 years ago now, so which doesn't tell much of a story either. I haven't done much league racing lately either because you keep me so busy behind the mic, but nice to see Matt Mars continuing on. And you know what? In spite of that issue, he's still up 3 positions. He's in 19th place.
Yeah, I remember the Aston kind of looks comfortable around here. It doesn't look like it's really bobbing around a whole lot. Like Detroit's a very rough track, and that car looks fairly planted compared to some of the other cars we've seen out here. The Mustang looks like it's going to bounce around a little bit. The McLaren, it's always very stiffly sprung.
You ever done any driving in Britain? I mean, there's a reason, I guess. I mean, oh my goodness. I shouldn't say that. Do we have any English people racing tonight? No, we don't. We're good, I think. So, Chase Matsko, 3rd place. Chase, a great season. He put himself in, when we went to different classes, he put himself in pro class, maybe a little ahead of the game, but this season he certainly proved he belongs up here with the results he's had.
I think he went to the McLaren this season. It seems like the McLaren and Chase just kind of melt together. It fits his driving style. We've seen him in a number of different cars. I think it was the very start of this season where they forced him into the Acura due to a bet he lost, Rich. And once he was able to get back out of that car and into the McLaren, he's going to turn his fortunes around. But we got a battle shaping up back here. Kyle Mavis, our Pro-Am Championship leader, has got himself up into 10th place now. He's now leading this pack, which is he, Fuller, Dunn, Moskowitz, Anthony Jenkins ran the back there too, and Alexander Berger tailing in. So we got 10th place all the way back to 15th here in a train as they try and reel in our 2nd place driver in the Pro Championship battle, Jeremy Eschman, in the Pro-Am Championship, Jeremy Eschman. So he's going to want to try and stay ahead of Kyle Mavis as long as he can here, try and garner some points here, Rich. But kissing those walls ain't going to help.
Yeah, that a little bit of sparks flying off the concrete and the body of that McLaren, and love to see it. Somehow we kept the mirrors on, and I guess the mirrors don't stick out as far as some of the other cars we've driven on this circuit, Rob, but Jeremy Eschman, nice to see him doing well. And folks, FMA is a free league to race in, free league to join. There's a reason for that. It's via donations and sponsorships, and Jeremy Eschman's family company, Alpha Reinforcing, and they're the ones sponsoring this series this season, and it's thanks to him and other race sponsors and donations that lets all the racing be free for all the competitors. So thank you, Jeremy.
And he is back again next season too, as well as the lead sponsor of the series. So thank you to Jeremy again, as you said, for that. So that's what we love to see. Then the drivers get to pick if they want to sponsor a race and pick their track that they choose. So all these tracks in the schedule, I believe all of them actually were picked by drivers. If I remember correctly, I had a quick look here at my schedule, and yeah, they were all picked up by drivers. So we have Jeremy sponsoring half the season, and the rest of the coverage was covered by the drivers picking their tracks.
You know, Rob, I asked Matt Mars of Team Admin Advantage, one of the league admins and the guy we deal mostly with, about sponsoring races and how that works, because I thought about, actually just personally sponsoring a race next season so I could pick a track I wanted to broadcast. And by the time I got around to it, they were all booked. They were booked solid. There was no race for me to sponsor. So nice to see all of the competitors enjoying this league so much that they want to contribute. Like I said, you don't have to, folks, but it's certainly appreciated, and it's what helps things go on. As we take a look at Alexander Berger, always has the webcam on, sometimes on him, sometimes on his navigator. But tonight, Alex, it looks like he's driving solo. Alexander Berger getting through the twisty section here as we're coming up towards the end of this lap, but 15th place overall, 2nd in class, still managing to keep off Jacob Williams way back. So Jacob Williams must have some damage there. Yeah, he's gone into the pits. He went pits early, so and somebody else pulling off into the pits. Anthony Jenkins.
Yeah, Jenkins coming in early. He was kind of mired in that battle with Mavis, Fuller, Dunn, and company, so not really surprising to see him pull off here. Maybe get himself a little bit of free air as I have a quick look at my track map here. And we still got about half the track clear where drivers can get themselves in to a spot where they can find a little bit of clear air, but it looks like Nigel Steele might have just towed into the pits too as well, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Not seeing anything flagged here, Rich.
No, that's something we haven't seen, and a very big surprise. Lap 9 at Belle Isle. And the IndyCars didn't go that many laps in a row without yellow flags last weekend, and or this past weekend. Their drivers doing a tremendous job. Lots of complaining in the chat beforehand about how this is a tough track and there's going to be lots of damage and crashes, but we haven't really seen it. The very big surprise. So Jeremy Eschman in 9th. Right behind him, though, the man who's moving on up 14 positions, Kyle Mavis, looking to get number 15. And wow, look at this Ferrari on McLaren. Good action. Great from the in-car, great from the roof cam there as well. Kyle Mavis coming around. Oh, Jeremy getting a little wide. Oh, that's a tough corner there, Rob. When the car ahead of you gets a little wide, it's too late for you to do much, but somehow Kyle Mavis managed to avoid it. Hopefully Jeremy didn't take too much damage there. It looks like he's okay. It'll find out in the next couple of corners, but Kyle Mavis onwards and upwards.
And I'm not sure if they made contact at all. Let's see if we can see here, Rich. Eschman hits the wall. Oh yeah, Mavis just kind of little tap on the right rear trying to get by, so shouldn't have any real significant damage from that. But yeah, I was kind of curious whether they were going to have a little bit, or sorry, if Mavis was going to get a little bit of damage. We've seen him moving up through the field rather quickly here, but we got a battle a little farther back here between Mark Osier and Adam Lowe. It's for 17th and 18th overall. Osier up 8 spots, and a driver who you like to mention, Rich, kind of quiet most races. He doesn't really get himself involved in a whole lot, just quietly goes about his race. He's doing that again here this week, up into 17th place.
Well, and that's why he's doing so well in the season championship. It's not because of necessarily having the pace of the guys at the front in the season championship in the AM category. It's because he's consistent. You know, a lot of a season is consistency. Yeah, you may win one race, but if you crash out in the next 3, it does you no good. Marc Osier, he's going to finish every race.
Yeah, right now 4th in class. Still a long way to go here as we're just at the 30-minute to go race. So only 15 minutes into this one, Rich, and for as much non-crashes as we've seen, there's been a lot of excitement as far as battles on track, which you love to see. But a guy who hasn't been battling too much here, but getting into a little bit of lap traffic now, is our leader, Marshall Crocker Jr., because he's got the 111 up ahead of him now of Curtis Kinneker. Curtis in the McLaren down 4 spots, so a little bit of a tail of the tape here. 2 drivers, Marshall Crocker Jr., everything going his way right now. Curtis Kinneker, probably not a big fan of the streets of Belle Isle.
Yeah, well, Curtis has already taken his pit stop for fuel, so that's part of the reason he's so far behind. That cost him 43 seconds or so. So Marshall Crocker Jr. making quick work. Curtis knowing what's going on, quickly getting out of the way. Anthony Jenkins. What is going on with Anthony Jenkins? He's in the pit lane. So far, so good. Everything looking normal. Been there for 12, 13 seconds. And, yeah, late dive. Whoa. Oh, yeah, that's how you maximize. That's how you minimize time lost when you go in pit lane, folks. Just send her right in there. But that was cutting it a little close.
Yeah, that was... It's kind of strange. He's already been for his pits, Rich, so I wonder if maybe he had some hardware issue or something that he dove in there at the last second, or, you know, you never know what happens at home at any given time. So we'll see if maybe Anthony can get himself back out on track. But we have special requests here for Zachary Clemens in chat. Wanted to see the onboard of the Lambo of David Busch III. So here we are riding on board with David Busch as he's heading around the track in through turn 3 here now. So we'll stick with him here for a little bit as he gets into the tight, twisty confines here, Rich.
Yeah, as we're coming up here with David Busch III, did he? I don't see any money sent from Zachary. I thought that was $5 minimum charge, but you take a look at the Lambo. That rear view camera occupies a lot of screen real estate there. Makes it a little bit difficult to see. We're not looking at the drivers. We're sitting in the center here right now. So, but when you're the driver's side, you really get blocked out a lot here. This section here is really, really tricky as you're coming up through turn 7. It's kind of right, and then this one, it's all about it's a finesse section of this track through 8, 9, 10, and 11. You got to give it lots of throttle, but then you got to get on the binders quick. But you got to want to carry some speed, and you want to keep the car balanced. Then this is always a tricky corner here, coming up to turn 12. You got to get up. You get a little bit of trail braking, swing it right out to the concrete wall. Don't hit it. Maybe brush it, but don't hit it. And keep the speed and momentum going up to finish the corner and the track for turns 14 and 15, where you're flat out. And then it's another rhythm section here, Rob. Turns 1 and 2, you kind of got to carry the speed, but you're kind of off camber. It's bumpy. It's over a hill, and it's back down. Now it's bumpy again. Great onboard action with David Bush III.
Yeah, and he's pulling away from his teammate here, Colin McKenzie, who still has Anthony Barranco in tow. Not really much case here for Bronco to really have to push the envelope for McKenzie. He's still got a bit of a gap over Kyle Mavis, who he's battling in the Pro-Am Championship, as Mavis has got himself up into 9th. But he kind of stalled out a little bit here, Rich, once he's got into the meat of the top 10, although he's closing in on Mark Nelson. Nelson down 1 spot from where he qualified. He's had a nice season here as well for himself and the Mid-Advantage team.
Yeah, he certainly has. Nice to see Mark Nelson putting the I don't know what I was going to say, Rob, but making that Porsche go zoom zoom. We'll just say, how's that? He certainly demonstrated he's got some pace, and he's had a good season, as has Mid-Advantage as a whole. They really have. Tonight's not necessarily Matt Maher's best night, but Chase Matsko, tremendous season. Matt Maher's he got his first win, and Mark Nelson has certainly demonstrated a lot of pace.
Yeah, for as rough as the race started for Matt Mars, he is up 7 spots into 15th place here, Rich. So he is, making the best of a bad situation or a bad start here for him. So he's just on the back of Justin Moskowitz. You can just see him out of screen there, the white Ghost liveried Corvette, and then just up ahead of them, Alex Berter is only 1.8, 1.7 seconds up ahead of them. It sounded like Moskowitz kind of kissed the wall a little bit. That's going to allow Mars to get a run on the outside. He's going to make that pass. It's going to move him up into 13th place here now.
Maybe that's what Matt needed. He just needed a little bit of chaos at the beginning to, we didn't have anything going on lap 1 in terms of chaos that we were expecting. So, maybe him and the other Aston needed that of Paxton Frith to get Matt into the game, so to speak. So Matt's certainly getting the job done, and it looks like he's well in a groove now.
He is, and it looks like our big mover and shaker here of Kyle Mavis, he's popped into the pits to get his fuel stop done, so he's going to get himself back on track. He's fallen down to 19th place, so he's now our highest placed driver to pit. So we'll see how that strategy works out, Rich. I know you're always a big fan of the I don't want to really call it overcut, but going as long as you possibly can before you're coming in for your pit stop.
Heck yeah.
Where at a track here like Belle Isle, where if you get mired in traffic, it'll slow you down so much. It's not like you can really make a move on somebody. There's not a whole lot of overtaking opportunities, where if you pop in early, get that fuel stop done, maybe you find yourself some clear track where you can put in some nice hot laps, and who knows what happens once the rest of the field comes in for their service.
100%. That's the only time I would be coming in early, is if I'm kind of stuck, so to speak, as you say, and if you know your pace is better than you can do because you're stuck behind people or a train of people, then come in early. But otherwise, you may come if you come into the pits early, you may go right out into traffic and then get yourself stuck anyway. So certainly street circuits kind of you got to play it by ear, and that's what Kyle Mavis has done. And I mean, even with his early pit stop, he's still up 6 positions. So it looks like Kyle Mavis, I think, may have made a pretty good decision, but we will see.
Yeah, time will tell as we follow this battle here. Nathan Fuller, Timothy Dunn, and Jeremy Eschman leading this pack here. It's a battle within the Pro-Am class, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in class. So we saw what happened to Timothy Dunn there earlier. He was trying to make the move on the inside of Jacob Williams. Unfortunately, cost Williams a bunch of spots, and looks like he just hasn't quite been able to regroup here, Rich. I'm not sure if he's got any damage on he does have some damage on the right front, but I'm not sure if that's compromised his steering at all. But he's made the move around Michael Lemanchik to get 1 spot back, but just doesn't quite have the pace since that incident happened.
It's a Mustang. It's used to having damage on the front end and the sides and the corners, sometimes the back end. As long as it's got the rear wing and 4 tires, should be ready to rip. Jacob Williams, though, has done his pit stop, although he seems to have been in there Well, I mean, he's in there 4.5 seconds longer in his stall than Kyle Mavis. So that's something we're going to have to look out for as other drivers come into the pits. Kyle Mavis in his stall for just over 14 seconds. Jacob Williams in his stall for 18.5 seconds. So not sure which one's the right way and who overfueled or who underfueled, but we'll see as the other drivers come in a matter of a couple of laps or so.
Yeah, I'm having a look at the right front suspension here, Williams, and it looks like that tire is never ever pointed in a straight line. It's always going to turn to the left a little bit. So he's driving a ill-handling car. So unfortunate for our AM leader in the points coming into this one, but he had himself a nice gap. One race shouldn't affect him a whole lot. I'm not sure what his drop situation is from his results the rest of the season here, Rich, but shouldn't hurt him a whole lot as this one gets closer and closer to the finish line. But things getting spread out a little bit here as we await the rest of the field to come in for their pit stops. Only we got gaps of 1.5 to 2 seconds are about our closest battles right now.
Yeah, but and up front, Marshall Crocker Jr., 6-second gap to Chris Lashbrook in second. So like I said, the field's spreading out quite a bit, which is not necessarily unexpected. Maybe the amount they've spread out is unexpected. Street circuits tend to spread out the field a little bit. Lap traffic can sometimes bring things back together, but we race here in GT3 racing with no full course yellows, so the full course yellows kind of will bring things back into in real life racing, but in the sim world here we try and avoid that on the road circuits.
Yeah, and I guess the biggest storyline here right now with Marshall Crocker Jr. leading Chris Lashbrook is Lashbrook was looking to go back to back to back here, Rich, and right now it looks like Marshall Crocker Jr. going to put an end to that streak for Chris Lashbrook if it ends up finishing the way it is now. But we are just past the halfway point, so still a lot can happen here as Crocker Jr. makes his way around his teammate Jacob Williams with that hurting Mustang.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not wishing ill will on anybody. But I watched the IndyCar race yesterday, as I said, and the man in front who was dominating just made one wrong corner and put it into the concrete wall. And it's very easy to do here at Belle Isle, very similar. Just one wrong move, brush one corner, brush one wall, and your race can be over. So Crocker Jr. just has to be careful. He's got 6.5 second advantage. Don't want to lose anything, but, you know, Kyle Mavis here, 16th place, up 8 positions. Leader of all the people who've done their pit stops, and Josh Dufresne is next on his list, the critical racing driver, trying to hold off. Oh, wisely looked up tucking in, and then saw Kyle Mavis sending it, and Josh Dufresne knows that's not his race. Wisely backs out of it and lives to fight another day against another person. Let Kyle Mavis go on up ahead and just maintain your position where you are.
Yeah, good thing Dufresne was watching his mirrors there. Otherwise, that could have been the end of both drivers' races. I guess Kyle was pretty confident that Josh saw him coming through there, was able to make the dive. But Chris Lashbrook, he's right in behind his teammate now of Adam Lowe, those two FR Racing drivers. But unfortunately for Adam Lowe, he's going to get put a lap down by the second place car here of Chris Lashbrook as they make their way through the final couple of corners. They head to the start finish line, and you see Chase Matsko. He's actually closing in a little bit here on Lashbrook in that McLaren, Rich. So we'll see if Chase can continue pushing forward, and maybe we'll have a battle here for the second step on the podium.
That would be nice to see. Still got 18 minutes left. We still got a pit stop from them. Just one note, Adam Lowe, you were just talking about, Rob. He was in his stall for 8.9 seconds. And I know there's no way that's enough fuel to get to the end of this race, unless he stopped twice, but I don't see that. I don't know if you can see that on your timing, but I can't. And
yeah, I'm only seeing him stopping once. I wonder if maybe he had damage, and that's all it took to repair the damage. Maybe they had to put a rear wing back on it or something. I don't know. We'll have to see if he pops.
Or stopped early enough when
he's going to have to come back in regardless either way, because the only other driver anywhere near that was Nathan Fuller, and he was 11.3 seconds. So definitely it's not going to be enough fuel for Adam Lowe, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's weird. And yeah, it's really interesting that, I mean, the amount of time people have spent on pit road or in their stall. I mean, Kyle Mavis 14 seconds, Alexander Berger 11.5. All kinds of different mixing up. I don't know what's right, I don't know what's wrong, but Timothy Dunn's into his just exiting pit road now. This is always an interesting exit too. You're coming right out onto the racing line, right out onto a tough corner in corner 2, and fortunately Timothy Dunn timed that right and didn't have to come out in the way of anybody, getting that job done. So Timothy Dunn, 14th place, so far so good. Nice, quick, regularly scheduled pit stop.
Yeah, it is definitely a tricky pit exit. Not a whole lot of run out of pit exit there either as well, Rich. You cross the line and you're right there into turn 1, so you really got to be cognizant of your relative when you're coming through there. But Mark Ossier, we were talking about the nice run he had shaped up earlier on. Now, virtue of some other drivers coming in to complete their pit stop, he's now up 13 spots, but he has our leader of cars who have pit now, Kyle Mavis, right hot on his tailpipes here, Rich. We know Mavis isn't going to want to wait too long to make this move on Ossier. They're not battling for a position as Mark still owes us a pit stop and Kyle's completed his, so I suspect Ossier will let Mavis down rather quickly, and there we see the move now.
Yeah, Ossier, he's always been a gentlemanly racer. He knows who he's battling, he knows who he's not, and he doesn't try to hold anybody up who he's not racing with. As we take a look at Jerry Meshleman in his the McLaren, the Threshold Motorsports driver, exiting pit road. He was pretty much 11 seconds bang on in his stall, so all kinds of different times for different people, and so far we will see who has enough fuel, who doesn't. I'd like to think everybody does, but let's be realistic. You know somebody's going to run out. As we take a look, Kyle Mavis right behind Jeremy Eschleman now. These two drivers, Mavis up 12 positions in 12th, Eschleman up 1 in 11th. 3rd and 4th in class right now. They're looking for a little more, but there's several drivers up ahead of them who have to pit. Speaking of pits, Marshall Crocker Jr., Chris Lashbrook, Chase Matsko, all on pit lane now.
Yeah, there's Crocker Jr. pulling into his stall. We see Lashbrook in behind. He'll pull up on the stall. Yeah. Immediately behind him, doing a little sideways slide into his box. There's Chase Matsko too as well. But it looks like that early pit stop might have worked for Kyle Mavis. He picked up a number of spots, and he's now right in behind Eschleman, as you mentioned. It's a battle for 3rd and 4th in class. Matt Mars is able to get around them into 2nd place, but he still loses a stop. And as I say that, he's now popped in for his fuel stop here. So the big key we'll have to watch for is Anthony Barranco, who is the leader of Pro-Am now. He hasn't completed his stop. He's been up front, kind of in behind Colin McKenzie and David Bush III here. I'm not sure if he's been able to save a little bit of fuel. See how quick his pit stop is here, Rich, but this will be the real measuring stick on whether Kyle Mavis made the right move coming in early or not.
Yeah, well, no surprise, David Bush III and Colin McKenzie both going an extra lap over the leaders. David Bush III always seems to be able to just eke out a little bit out of that Lambo, and I don't think it's because the Lambo's that fuel efficient. Like, let's be real here. There's no way you would call the Lamborghini Huracan a fuel efficient economy car. Maybe the Acura, okay, maybe, but definitely not the Lambo. I expect to see David Bush III going into pit lane here. As you take a look on board, look at this exit. What a tremendous exit, and diving right in hard on the binders, get it down to pit lane speed. David Bush III into the pits. Anthony Barranco going around again.
Yeah, I guess he was able to save enough fuel here behind McKenzie. We'll see. Hopefully he's got enough to get himself back to the line. There's always that, a little bit of inhibition there, I guess, Rich. Ooh, did I save enough fuel to make it around, or did I save enough to still be able to run a competitive lap? It's one thing to go that extra lap, but if you're going to be down a second or two on that lap, it's not all that advantageous, that it would have been coming in with the rest of the field.
No, and here's hoping he's got enough to get all the way. And it's not just getting into pit lane, you got to have enough to get to your stall, and Barranco, his stall is going to be right at the far end of pit lane, so hopefully he's got enough to get that Ford Mustang, the grid seat Iron Horse Motorsports Mustang, into pit lane safely and securely as he's following along behind. I believe that's a Mark Ossier up ahead. We always recognize the McLaren of Mark Ossier.
It looks like something might have happened to Nathan Fuller here right in front of Matt Mars. Let's see. Pulled over onto the grass. I'm not sure what happened there. for him if he had some kind of terminal damage earlier, Rich, but looks like that's going to be the end of the race for Fuller. But our leader, Bronco, coming into the pits, so we'll keep an eye on where Eschliman and Mavis come around here. We'll see if Bronco made the right choice and decision here, Rich, if coming in at the tail end has worked out for him, or if maybe he should have come in earlier like Mavis and Eschliman. But that's going to move Marshall Crocker Jr. back up into top spot as he comes hot around turn 2 and down the front straight, tucked in behind the Ferrari. I believe that is Joshua Dufresne.
Joshua Dufresne.
And he's going to move over and let Marshall Crocker Jr., our leader, through.
Yeah, Crocker Jr. 7.5 second gap to Chris Lashbrook. Chris Lashbrook 4.5 seconds to Chase Matsko. Chase Matsko 6 seconds to David Bush III. The closest battle, one of the closest battles on track now is David Bush III, Colin McKenzie, and Anthony Barenko. So we've got some close cars there. We've also got Threshold Motorsports Jeremy Eschliman, Iron Horse Motorsports Kyle Mavis close together. So we do have some battles going on, Rob. They're just not up near the front. They're just kind of more in the mid-pack, who's taking Eschliman. Jeremy Eschliman going down inside on Mark Nelson. And we're tucking it right behind is Kyle Mavis. Mark Nelson's going to get the worst of all of this, dropping 2 positions on 1 corner. So great moves by these 2 drivers up ahead.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Nelson just kind of pulled over, let them through, recognized they're battling for 2nd and 3rd in class, and he's a little bit of a ways back from next in class. And yeah, I think he's a gentleman racer. Mark's always been a very kind guy on track. Goes out there, puts in his laps, does his race. Rich,
I guess one of the admin advantage. Who are the league admins, folks. That's where the admin advantage comes from. I guess at least one of them's got to be a gentleman, because Chase Matsko ain't going to do that for you. I'll just guarantee that Chase is going to battle you tooth and nail, which I appreciate. I appreciate both sides of the racing spectrum.
absolutely. We see in behind them, just out of camera shot, looks like Timothy Dunn and Matt Mars are battling it out. So again, we're kind of ragging on Matt earlier on in the race here, Rich, but he's worked himself up into 12th place, and it looks like he's going to take that spot away from Timothy Dunn. That's going to build him into 11th now for a gain of 11 spots. So other than Kyle Mavis, is our biggest mover and the only other driver that's into double-digit position gains.
Yeah, and he did that. And while driving that car, it looked like at the red light district in Amsterdam with the flashing red lights, either that or the Popo were in behind him trying to pull him over first, going so fast. Nice move, Matt Mars. Nice recovery after that earlier incident with Paxton Frisk. So Matt Mars on a bit of a heater. A little trouble early on, but hasn't let that get him down.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see where he'd be battling if he didn't have that, as you said, it looked like a black flag to start the race, and then had that incident with the other Aston of Paxton Frith. Maybe he'd be up in that battle with Mavis and Eschliman for second in class as they continue to battle it out here. Eschliman hasn't been able to open up a gap over Mavis, and Mavis not willing to let him open up that gap. And who's loving this is the man 3 positions down the track here, Rich, Anthony Baranco, as he has an 18-second gap over that battle.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. And yeah, Anthony Baranco, first in class in Pro-Am. And, you know, in amateur, I'm not going to jinx anything here. 13th place overall, lucky 13. Yeah, there's the man, Alexander Berger. It's been a while since he's been top of the heap and the winner in class, but right now he's in first place with a 7.5 second gap to Justin Moskowitz behind.
Yeah, looking comfortable right now with just over 8 minutes to go. So getting down to the nitty gritty here, Rich. If you can hold on to that 7.5 second gap, it looks like it could be a championship. It could be a win here for him in Belle Isle on the streets. But one of our other AM drivers, he's battling back here, trying to recover after that incident, is Jacob Williams. Came in sitting as the top AM driver in qualification, had that incident, trying to work his way back up. But he's got Cody Deek just up ahead of him, the Oath Racing driver. Cody up 1 spot into 15th. It's probably one of his better results right now if he can bring it home.
Yeah, Cody Deek, I think he joined us last season, and not usually at the front. We interviewed him once or twice, but managed to get some he's here every week, managed to get some consistent results to put him solidly in the points championship. And Cody Deek right now having a very, very solid effort. Third in class right now, but trying to hold off Jacob Williams, who's charging hard. But as you can see, still got a little bit of damage on the front right of that Mustang.
It'll be interesting to find out what kind of tire wear he was getting by the end of the race, or how cocked the steering wheel was to the left side here through the back half of this race. But looks like Eschman's been able to break away a little bit here from Kyle Mavis, as now that gap's sitting at about a second, 1.1 here, kind of fluctuates up and down. But we'll see now if now the McLaren's been released a little bit from that Ferrari, if he can pull away. Oh, Mavis into the wall. Still keeping the mirrors on the side of that car. I wish iRacing would bring that back where you can knock the mirrors off.
That was
so
the
much
best,
fun.
Rob. Yeah, I think I may have said it before, and if I didn't, I'm going to say it again, folks. Rob and I used to race as teammates in a league years ago before we started broadcasting, and our secret was to rub the mirrors off when you're coming through qualifying, because it made the car a little more aerodynamic. You could graze against the concrete wall, take the mirrors off, as we take Justin Moskowitz doing the slow spin to nowhere, slowing down greatly, getting everything back underway. That Corvette, did the Corvette not have mirrors?
It does. I was just going to say, where's his mirrors? There's no way Kyle Mavis wouldn't have lost his mirrors rubbing against the wall. I thought iRacing took that away, because it's been a number of seasons where I've seen drivers hitting the wall and haven't seen any mirrors fly off, but maybe they forgot to do it on the Corvette.
I used to love doing that, though. I think you said that to me once, so we did it in qualifying, and what it does is it doesn't make you faster, but what it does is it makes it harder to get a 0x, which invalidates your qualifying lap, because once the mirrors are gone, you got an extra 4 or 5 inches. You can get closer to the wall without getting a little contact. So back up to the front, Marshall Crocker Jr., Iron Horse Motorsports, the Ford Mustang, not the Ferrari. Almost a 9-second gap to Chris Lashbrook. Tremendous pace by Marshall, and looks like he's got it on cruise control.
And he's onto the back of, I believe that is Adam Lowe up ahead of them. He's just put a lap on Mark Ossier, so worked his way through the mid-pack here now, Rich, with 4.5 minutes, coming up on 4.5 minutes to go in this one. It's only going to be a couple more laps, maybe 3 or 4 more laps left to go in this race, but Chris Lashbrook right now looks like his battle is with Chase Matsko to try and hold on to second spot. Matsko was closing that gap a little bit. Looks like he's kind of stagnated here in the last 5 minutes or so. Matsko comfortably in third place, though.
Yeah, I was ragging on Chase a little earlier, and he was trying to prove a point that he doesn't suck when he's racing, and I said, well, you best not suck tonight, and that was his plan. Well, you know what, Chase? So far, so good. Plan going according to plan. I can comfortably say you do not suck tonight, and nice job thus far.
Absolutely. Let's take a look here. What happened to Matt Mars? Oh, again, drifted a little wide into the oh no, he's gonna lose it.
Something.
Oh man, that's gonna cost him a couple of spots. Unfortunate, but he's gonna get it back on track. But he's going to move back down to 13th place as Berger and Dunn were both able to get by him. But Mark Nelson watching that battle between Mavis and Eschman, who was reignited here. Oh no, that wasn't. That's a lap car that Mavis was dealing with there, disposed of. So Eschman continues to open that gap. 2.7 seconds now over Mavis. So Mavis, I wonder if maybe he pushed a little hard here. Rich might have used up a little too much of his tires here, and maybe a little too much of his cars. We've seen him kissing the wall a number of times through these corners. Oh, speaking of kissing the wall, that McLaren of Curtis Kinnicker just tagged the wall in behind Mark Nelson.
Well, that's what the walls are there for, folks. You can't get an off track here. It's very difficult to get an off track here at Belle Isle, because the concrete keeps you on the track. Let's take a look at Mark Nelson. Once he got passed by Kyle Mavis, he's stuck right with him. Like you said, Kyle Mavis may have used up all of the tires of the Ferrari, and Mark Nelson. Not many Porsche drivers out here tonight, folks. Actually, you know how many there are? There's one. Admin advantage is Mark Nelson, and Mark Nelson doing a good job of getting that vehicle around. He's down 3 positions, but still in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're not seeing more Porsches at street circuits with the bumpy track and having that extra weight over the rear axle. You think it would have worked well for them to get in and out of the corners, but Mark Nelson's showing it can be competitive, as you mentioned. Once Mavis got around him, he stuck right on that back bumper of him. So I wonder if he went to school a little bit, found where Mavis was picking up that extra time. Is Nelson going to try and go the long way around? Mavis going to defend on the inside, but that's just letting Jeremy Eshelman get farther and farther away, and he's actually getting closer to Amrit Vestrala. It's only 1.8 seconds between those two drivers. You can see there Eshelman just kind of lurking in the background of that camera shot. As Vestrala, it looks like he's going a little slower in the Mustang. I'm not sure he's got some damage trying to nurse that car home here, Rich.
I'm not sure at all. I don't know if you noticed Mark Nelson and the battle with Kyle Mavis. Kyle Mavis, when he got back on the throttle, back end of that Ferrari, just kicking around. So I think his tires might be cooked. Oh, Amrit Vestrala's tires look like they might be done there too. He was getting a little squirrely. So that could explain why Jeremy Eshelman is really closing that gap now. It's only a second and a half, and we're coming up to one of the last laps of the race. We may be on the last lap for the leaders. So I think once they come by here, this will be the white flag for Jeremy Eshelman, but he's running out of time if he wants to catch Amrit Vestrala.
Marshall Crocker Jr. hasn't picked up the white flag yet. He'll pick it up this time by, I think it was a matter of seconds that he crossed the line with having that one extra lap here, Rich. So we'll see if Eshelman able to close in that gap on Vestrala. And now we start looking at the pit lap times, the pit box times here for these drivers. Some of these drivers that were a little quicker than others, maybe they weren't calculating this extra lap that we're going to do here, Rich. And I'm looking at Eshelman being one of the quicker drivers in and out of his box, 10.97 seconds for him, where the majority of the rest of the field is somewhere in the 11s and 12s.
Yeah, it's that extra lap is known to usually cost 1 or 2, sometimes 3 people. As we take a look at Marshall Crocker Jr. taking the white flag from Barney. He's got 1 lap to go. He's got 9.5 second gap, so just take it easy, get through this. The closest person to him is teammate Jacob Williams, who is just over 4 seconds up. So Marshall Crocker Jr., nobody between him and victory but himself.
Yeah, definitely. We go back to this battle here between Nelson and Mavis. Nelson still not willing to let Kyle Mavis get ahead. Mavis sitting in the final podium spot for the Pro-Am class. Oh, man. He's going to get it done.
I can't believe they didn't both die.
Let's take another look at how both these drivers managed to survive this one here, Rich. As you see the left front of that Ferrari looking a little banged up for Mavis, but oh man, it just kind of snapped back into position at the right moment, where we've seen that go the opposite way so many times.
Yeah, he did that. Mavis did a great job of saving that, and Mark Nelson, a great job of crash avoidance. But we take a look with Marshall Crocker Jr. coming around up to corner 12. He's got a couple more corners to go. Once he gets past here, it's easy street. Foot to the floor. Marshall Crocker Jr., he's already weaving. He's already flashing. Marshall Crocker Jr., he took pole. He took victory.
Yeah, hats off to Marshall Crocker Jr. Breaks the streak of this man right here, Chris Lashbrook. He comes across the line to finish in second, and Chase Matsko going to round out the overall podium as well as the podium in the pro class. And David Bush III just ahead of his teammate Colin McKenzie in fifth, and then Anthony Barranco, another win for him in class in the Pro-Am class. Jeremy Eshelman going to come home second in class. Looks like he had just enough fuel to get him to the line there, Rich. Although it sounds like that car might be spittering and sputtering as he's trying to get there. He's very, very not at full chat or full RPMs here coming around this section, but he's going to get to the line, so congrats to him. And Kyle Mavis going to finish up in behind Mark Nelson. Nelson going to win that battle, but Mavis takes the final step on the podium. But it's a class win for Stebo and Alex Berger in AM class, Rich.
Yeah, well, welcome back to Victory Lane, Alex.
There he's across the line with Stebo cheering him on in the profile picture. Justin Moskowitz going to survive to come home second in class. That ghost car looking a little banged up the front, and it's still missing those two mirrors. It's the streamlined Corvette, but he's got Cody Deek just 3 seconds back from him. So nice run for Cody Deek. He's going to finish up on the podium in class.
Yeah, and very nice job by Cody. Podium finish is a podium finish, and surviving Belle Isle is something to be proud of, Cody.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at this.
Marshall Crocker Jr. trying to destroy what's left of that Mustang, and he's going to back across the line in reverse. Barney having a look up ahead.
J-turn, come on. Oh, no. Oh, that is impressive, Rob. I mean, that's a tough corner forwards.
They're all tough corners forwards for you, though, Rich. I thought we established that earlier.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a good race.
Let's take a look at the results for this one, Rich.
Oh, I love it, Marshall.
In the pro class,
here we are.
As well as the overall, we see Marshall Crocker Jr. taking the win. He led all 30. Or no, we had 31 laps. He led 30 of the 31 laps. Chris Lashbrook going to take second with Chase Matsko coming home in third. David Bush, Colin McKenzie ran out the top five with Fastralla, Nelson. Jenkins pulled off earlier, and Jacobson out early on for actually, no, he never saw the grid. He was the one driver we didn't see grid up, so I wonder what happened to him. But that's going to do it for the pro class. How did things finish up in Pro-Am, Rich?
Yeah, in Pro-Am, Anthony Barranco with a commanding victory over Jerry Meshman with a solid second place effort. Kyle Mavis tried that last to first challenge, fell a little short. I think the tires wore out, but Kyle Mavis coming in third place. Fourth place is Timothy Dunn. Matt Mars, nice recovery effort to come fifth. Paxton Frith, his issues, but still managed to finish on the lead lap in sixth. Nathan Fuller had his issues and was 10 laps down.
And then our final class, Alexander Berter takes the win. Stebo will be happy about that. Justin Moskowitz comes home in second with Cody Deek rounding out the podium in class. Jacob Williams going to settle for a fourth place up and down race for him. That's probably the best result he could have expected after that incident falling to the back of the field. Marc Ossier comes home in top five with Dufresne, Lowe, Kinnicker, LeManchek, and Steely running out the top 10, and then PJ Wentline out after 3 laps of this one.
Yeah, tough race for PJ and for Nigel for that matter. But yeah, Marshall's still driving around backwards. How much fuel? I mean, he must have taken a tremendous amount of fuel, or maybe when you go backwards, it starts putting fuel in the tank. I'm not sure, but great job there, Marshall.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him, Rich, when he gets into the booth here and find out how much extra fuel. I wonder if maybe he was expecting to go 1 lap longer. As I said, he just caught that extra lap with about 2 seconds left on the clock. So we'll see what he has to say for that one. But as we wait for, he is in the booth here. All right, let's bring him in here to catch up with Richard Swindell as our race winner, Marshall Crocker Jr.
Well, Marshall, congratulations. You didn't forget how to win.
This guy. Get a load of this guy. Man, I missed you guys this week. If I went one more week, my goodness, it was gonna get ugly. It was gonna get ugly in my free time. My wife practicing it. Yeah, no. Last week was really rough, man. That was just a rough week for me in general. I had a terrible ear infection coming into Monday. I got a new brake pedal, a new load cell. I didn't have quite up to scuff. Just man, it feels bad, but you got to have the catastrophic valious lows to have the beautiful soaring highs, don't you?
Well, that's for sure. I mean, the lower you go, the higher you can get, and you seem to put it on cruise control once you broke away from Chris Lashbrook. And then it was just a matter of negotiating lap traffic, which everything from what we saw looked like all the drivers were very courteous to you this evening.
Yeah, no, they were great. I couldn't really complain. Guys I always find it funny, like the ones that actually will throw me off are when guys like are very adamant about getting out of the way, and I just expect them to kind of hold their line. But no, guys did a great job today. Like you said, just kind of keeping it on cruise control. But with street circuits or any of these like really technical tracks, so the margins are really fine. I find I gotta be looking at my relative. I gotta be trying to go for the fastest lap again. Like I gotta be staying engaged, or else you kind of. I find for me at least, I sort of fade more at the street courses when I'm not like head down. When I kind of get. I called it in a bit of a fog. That's when you make the mistakes, right?
Yeah, when you get complacent, things go bad very, very quickly. Question for you. We saw your tremendous driving skill exhibition there, throwing her in reverse and getting through the turn 1-2 sequence better than a lot of us can do forwards. How much extra fuel did you have, or when you go backwards, does it start putting more fuel into the tank? Because you seem to be driving around quite a long way after the race was over.
Yeah, I threw a whole bunch of extra in. I wasn't sure with the time. I was kind of prepared to play the games as well. Teammate Jacob Williams there, who I was going to catch at the end of the race. The way it timed out, I wanted to have the flexibility that I could whoa it up and have that little bit of extra time there in the pits to have a little bit of wiggle room to play with. So it was a little closer than usual, but I always kind of overfeel a little bit. So you could see where I ended up. I did a lap and a half extra, so wasn't particularly worried. And typically, if I got more than 5 seconds, take the extra time, sit in the pits, and take your vitamins. That way, you get to do the fun bonus lap. But man, this one was terrible. Remember that one back at Aragon last season, or I think it was. Where was it? Might have been Jerez there. I had it way better there, Richard. I'm getting kind of washed when it comes to the backwards driving, the braking and.
Well, you got to win more. You got to win more.
I just need more practice. Yeah.
That's it. Well, Marshall, congratulations. It's been a tremendous season for you thus far. Anybody you'd like to shout out or give thanks to?
Yeah, we'll keep it quick. Just thanks to Alyssa there for watching. I had a pleasure a couple weeks ago doing her birthday stuff. She and I got a huge kick. We were watching bits and pieces of the race there. We had a bit of a kick of you guys. We were chatting back and forth. But yeah, you guys have just been doing an awesome job. Really glad we got you guys here full time down the rest of the calendar. And yeah, 2 more weeks. We're gonna have the awards back in 2 weeks. So just about to put the ballot out for that. I want you in your Sunday best, Rich. I want pre-race. I want a suit. I want a tie. I want you on camera. You're hosting the award show in 2 weeks again. I'm just giving you the heads up just so you can get ready.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll go to my beautician and get all dolled up just for the folks at home, Marshall.
On Rob's dime.
Thanks a lot.
Rob's dime.
Richard Swindells will be the Temu Steve Harvey.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
Richard Swanky Dells over here. Can't wait to see it. All right.
There we go.
Have a great night, gentlemen.
Thanks, Marshall. We'll hopefully talk to you next week.
See you in a bit.
That was race winner Marshall Crocker Jr. Let's bring in the driver who he stopped the streak here tonight for this man right here, Chris Lashbrook. Chris, second place. Not that bad, but I bet you were probably hoping for the three-peat here tonight.
Yeah, Marshall was on one tonight. He was pretty quick tonight. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he could just carry so much more speed through a lot of the corners than me. So yeah, he just was untouchable. So I knew pretty early on that my race was going to be with Chase, and yeah, it got tricky. I kept slapping the wall on so many corner exits there. Somehow didn't get 1x, just a bunch of 0x's. And when I come in for my pit stop, I had 20 seconds or something of optional repairs. But yeah, just kept it tidy after that, just kept a keen eye on Chase. And yeah, I'm actually pretty happy to take P2, to be honest. So yeah, no, it's a good night.
So we go from the tight streets of Detroit here to Sebring next week, and I believe it's going to be a rain race. I guess Sebring technically is kind of a street-ish circuit, but how you feeling about running in the rain on the bumpy surface of Sebring? You had some practice in the bumps here tonight at Detroit, but we're going to throw rain into the mix next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I love Sebring. However, I have not done it in the wet in these cars, and I've driven the Mustang previously in rainy races a while ago when I did not have a lot of fun. I would much prefer the Ferrari for that one, to be honest. But yeah, I've already used up my card change, so yeah, we'll just rock up, we'll persevere, keep it clean, and see where we end up, and hopefully another podium. I guess we'll find out.
We're going to wrap things up after that back in the Land Down Under, where we've been a number of times this season. Didn't go so well the first time for you. The second time you managed to get the win. What are you expecting maybe for the finale there in Bathurst?
Well, chew your ear off if you keep talking about Bathurst. That is our Nordschleife or our Spa. Yeah, that is my go track for me. Love that place. So yeah, if I don't win there, that'll be unacceptable on my expectations. So really, yeah, looking forward to that one. Double points, longer race as well. Yeah, perfect storm for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that more so the next week, to be honest. Next week's going to be a bump stop until we get there. So yeah, stoked to be able to race there for the last round and all that stuff. So yeah, heaps keen for that too.
Excellent stuff. There you go. Watch out for Chris Lashbrook going into the last couple of races of the season. But before we let you go here, Chris, anybody want to give a shout out to cheering on?
Just once again, just shout out to the team. Bit of a rough one again tonight, but yeah, we all stick together in the VC and help each other out. And yeah, just that shout out to the team, to be honest, and shout out to the Mustang. Those bumps tonight, so I'm happy with that too. Keep the car down.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck getting into the final 2 rounds, Chris, and hopefully we see you back battling up at the front again. Take care.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rob. Richard. Cheers.
That was second place Chris Lashbrook. Let's bring in the man who finished his final step on the podium in Pro Class and the overall to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Chase, congratulations. You did not suck tonight.
That's right. That was the goal. And it happened.
That was the goal. You had some great pace in the McLaren. Looked like you're closing in on Lashbrook towards the end. You think a few more laps you would have had him, or were you about done by then?
He might have been coasting. I don't know. I think he was just chilling. I'd catch up to him a little bit, and he would pull back up to a 4-second gap, and that's about where he wanted to be at. So I mean, he was hitting the wall a lot early, so I was hoping he would do it a little too hard. But
he was saying he had 20 seconds or 28 seconds or something of optional repairs in his pit stop. So those sparks you were seeing were causing some damage, but obviously not enough really to affect the race car. You didn't get that lucky, but you made that move on David Busch III early on, and you just kind of drove your own race, got through lap traffic, and put it solidly on the podium. That's got to feel good here on the tough circuits, the streets of Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, that's generally how you want a street circuit to go, just not chaotic, you know. So I love street circuits, but sometimes they can be a little crazy. But
Rob and I love them too. But next week is going to be a little different with nice bumpy track similar to Belle Isle, concrete wall here or there, but we got rain in the mix. How's the McLaren going to do there in the rain?
I hope good. I love rain racing, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, awesome, Chase. Well, congratulations on your third place, your podium finish tonight, and anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out or say something on behalf of FMA, whatever you'd like to say, Chase.
Just thank everybody for coming out, and thank you guys for putting on a good broadcast. It's always a pleasure having you guys broadcast our races.
Well, thank you very much, Chase Matsko. Third place in the pro category, third place overall.
And first place in our hearts, Rich. Let's bring in our winner of the Pro-Am class, Anthony Bronco. Anthony, a heck of a race there for you. Strategy-wise, you're able to save enough fuel to go with that extra lap. Were you intentionally staying in behind Mackenzie and Busch III to save that fuel for that one extra lap?
I mean, shoot. I was. I actually was 2 laps to the good on Marshall and Company, but I was not expecting, normally I'm the one that is the only one going long on fuel, or at least at the front of the field. So when I saw them keep going, I was like, well, I know I got another one on them. Let's see if they got another one. And turns out I was the only one that had 22 in the tank.
Yeah, it was a master class in fuel saving out there for sure. You finished up, I think, last check, about 17 or 18 seconds ahead of second place Eshelman, who was in a battle with your teammate after the pit stop, our Pro-Am Championship leader coming in this one, Kyle Mavis. So you're going to pick up a few points on your teammate Kyle, but 2 races left to go on the schedule here. You think you got enough time to get ahead of him?
Hey, championship back on. I mean, next race is Sebring. It's going to be wet, so anything can happen there. And then Bathurst, we all know how brutal that can be. So, I mean, it's not over till it's over. Obviously, we're going to have a clean, fight. But we're definitely going to fight for it.
That's what we like to hear. No papaya rules in the Iron Horse Motorsports camp here in FMA. But before we let you go here, Anthony, anybody want to give a shout out to helping you get ready each week or cheering you on in preparation for battle here on Monday nights?
I mean, shoot, I got to give it up to Kyle. This track, I bought it on Saturday and I started running laps on it yesterday. And I was like, dude, I just don't have it. Like, what's going on here? And I was like 2 seconds off when after like 20 laps in, and I was like, what's up, man? So we looked through a couple things, and so I can credit him for that. Jacob, tough race, man, but keep your head up. P4 is not the worst thing that could have happened. You're still in the fight. And then Marshall, Marshall's the standard. He's been the standard, and I think he's going to remain the standard. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to Matt, Grid Seat. Thanks to the fam, Grayson, my son. He cheers me on every night, so it's fun.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck heading into the final 2 rounds, Anthony, and we look forward to seeing the battle between you and your teammate Kyle heading down to the wire here. Take care.
Hell yeah, man. It's going to be a good one.
That was our winner in Pro-Am class, Anthony Barranco. Let's bring in the man who finished up in second, but it wasn't without his challenges at the end of the race to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Jeremy, congratulations. Solid effort there tonight, getting second place in class, 8th overall, up 4 positions from where you started. You got to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, that was one of my better races I've had in a while, I feel like. It just kept clicking as the race went on, and I got faster.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I thought, it's, we've seen you kind of mired in the mid-pack some races, but this race you're duking it out and making some gains. That battle with Kyle Mavis and Mark Nelson, you came out on top there, and that was certainly interesting. Overall, BELLE seemed to suit you.
Yeah, I felt like I had pretty good pace there, especially at the end. Just a little bit of practice I got in, I figured out some different lines, and then with Mavis, jumping Mavis in pit road, I knew that was going to be a battle to keep him behind me because he's been fast all season long. So holding him off was a big accomplishment for me.
Well, certainly, and that'll help your point standings for the season. Speaking of seasons, we made it mention earlier in the broadcast, Jeremy Eschliman and his family business are the title sponsors for the series, folks, this season and next season. We appreciate that, Jeremy. Next week, Sebring it is. Sebring in the rain. How are you at rain races? How are you at Sebring?
I haven't raced much of either, so I'm hoping the rain is more of an equalizer and it will bring some people back and pace to me. So we'll see. I'll put some practice in for it.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Any shout outs, any thank yous, anything you'd like to say?
Oh yeah, just thanks to you guys and FMA. This has been a blast on this for the last 6-8 months I've been here. So I'm glad that it's keep going well, and we'll keep it going.
Awesome. Well, that's Jeremy Eschliman. 2nd place Pro-Am division, 8th place overall this evening. We'll see you next week, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Okay, and let's bring in the man he was battling after the exit of pits. That was Kyle Mavis, comes home 3rd in class. Kyle, talk us about that strategy not to qualify starting at the back of the pack tonight.
There was no let's not qualify. That was a case of 0 X's, disqualify your qualifying laps, and pushing a little too hard, trying to get to the front of the pack as opposed to just getting a safe place. And ended up, not getting a single clean qualifying lap. And so we had unexpected worst to first challenge in front of us for the day. And too much contact with the wall about halfway through the race ended that pretty.
I wish you wouldn't have said that. Now Richard Swindells is going to get a big head because he thought maybe a bunch of drivers had 0x that are qualifying, and that's why they didn't put in time. So he's going to be gloating about that for a whole week. But we head to Sebring next week. 2 races left to go. Your championship league going to close a little bit here on your teammate Anthony Barranco. He thinks he might have something for you here the last couple races. How you feeling about that?
No, I mean, Sebring's kind of as close to a home track as you can get for Anthony. And he's definitely got more experience in the rain than I do. So it's going to definitely be a challenge between he and I there. Going to have to put in some time on the week leading up here to get more comfortable in the wet. Of course, it's always going to be a question of just how much of a rain race is it going to be? Are we talking lakes? Or are we talking just a little bit of mist on the windshield? And then obviously I think the last race, I feel pretty comfortable. Be interested to see how that one shakes out. It's always a challenging track, kind of similar to night where there's a lot of close walls. A little bit of kiss here or there can have you steering with a 15-degree angle in your wheel trying to go down the straights. So could be challenging, but look forward to the challenge. Love racing with Anthony and looking forward to see where this one ends up.
Yeah, you had a heck of a battle after your pit stop there with Jeremy Eschliman for a number of laps, and it looks like we were kind of debating on whether it looked like you might have overcooked your tires. Looks like the back end was starting to slip around on you as you were battling with Mark Nelson. Did you just kind of use up everything that you had making your way through the field earlier on? You just didn't have much left towards the end?
I think it was more using up the tires just due to the damage. The car was trying to force the rotation The car did not want to turn left at T2 onto the front straightaway, and that's obviously not a place you want to be slow. So we were being very aggressive with the inputs and, driving the wheels off of it at both ends. And towards the end, I haven't checked the stats on it yet, but I would be shocked if my front tires weren't down in like the low 60s because there was just no front grip. And so we were ping-ponging off walls, trying to cut every corner, get every ounce of rotation. It still wasn't enough to hold him off. And one kiss too many, and it just kind of let him by there. So it was unfortunate, but, I tried to hang on as best I could at the broken car.
Before we let you go here, Kyle, give us any shout-outs and cheers, recognition you want to make for everybody that helps you get ready each week.
Just shout out to the team. Obviously, good to see Marshall back here. It's been a couple weeks since we've all been on here together racing. He was off the week we were at Sandown, and me and Anthony were off last week at Road Atlanta. So the team is out there pushing everybody, making everybody qualify high and run good laps. Of course, want to thank the wife and kid for taking care of the household, keeping the dogs and cats and everybody happy while I'm in here trying to play pretend race car driver. Of course, thanks to you guys for always putting on a good show and a great broadcast. Can't wait to get the headset off here and watch this one back.
Excellent stuff, Kyle. Best of luck heading into the final 2 races of the season, and we hope for a monsoon at Sebring next week because it always brings the excitement. So take care and good luck.
Thanks so much, guys.
That was Kyle Mavis, our third finisher in Pro-Am class. Let's bring in the man that lives with Stebo. I believe it lives under Stebo's rule. Winning the AM class, he's caught up with Richard Swindells.
Well, Alex, it's nice to see you getting the victory. It's been a while, I think, since you've had one here. Not saying you've had a bad season, but you got to be really pleased with tonight's effort.
Yeah, VIR, I got a victory, and I definitely was not expecting one tonight. I kind of just came in tonight like, well, I gotta just race just in case, Jacob or Justin kind of have a bad race and I can pick up some points on them. I definitely wasn't expecting a win, let alone a 0x at a street course, but I'll take it.
Well, as I mentioned earlier during the broadcast, which you wouldn't have heard yet, it's unless you hit another car, the walls, you can tap those walls and get the 0x because it's hard to get an off track here because the walls keep you on the track. But you definitely had some good pace there. You had some good battles all race long. You kept it clean, and that's what it's really all about here at Belle Isle. Obviously the Ferrari seemed to be working well for you here. How's it going to work for you next week at Sebring in the rain, do you think?
That's what I'm kind of debating what car I want to use. I was up in the air about using the Mustang because I know everyone's using it, but I was a little more comfortable with Ferrari this week. I wish the Porsche wasn't so bad right now, or I would go. I love the Porsche in the rain. I don't know, something about the rear engine. I think it just does a lot better in the rain. It might be the Ferrari again next week.
I mean, Mark Nelson is the only Porsche driver we've got here, and he had a decent race tonight. I mean, he put it ninth, and he was battling with Kyle Mavis and Jeremy Eshelman, and that was in the dry on the bumpy track. It may be a car to consider, but I'll leave that up to you. I'm just going to broadcast. I don't have to pick a car. I don't have to drive a car. I get to watch it, and looking forward to seeing how you do there next week, Alexander, because tonight you certainly put on a nice performance. So that all said, any shout-outs, anybody like to thank? Maybe your navigator in your co-pilot seat? I'm not sure. Let's hear it, Alex.
Yeah, thanks to Steve. Let me see if I can move the camera. He was running around somewhere. There he is.
There's the man.
It doesn't want to focus. Yeah, shout out to Steve, obviously. Shout out to all the Threshold guys. Of course, now my camera's not going to focus. Shout out to my boy Austin. Now he's in the chat. Yeah, excited for next week. Hopefully, we can do the same thing.
Well, yeah, you made some gains this week. Maybe you'll make some more gains next week, and we will see next week at Sebring. Thanks a lot, and congratulations, Alexander.
All right. Thank you, guys.
That was our winner in AM class, Alexander Berter. And then let's bring in our third place finisher in AM class, Mr. Cody D. Cody, excellent race. Get yourself up into 15th place overall, I believe it was. Third in class. Talk us through your race.
I mean, it was definitely a stressful one. I mean, we've had a pretty rough season. I mean, just trying our best, showing up every week and just There's a lot of competition in the AM class now. Not saying that there wasn't last season. There's just a lot of new drivers this season. So I haven't been getting the finishes that I'd like. Gave it a little bit more practice this week and put in quite a bit of laps. And I figured if we stayed patient, we had a shot at it. But coming away with the podium is definitely nice. I know at the end there, Jacob, he had me watching the relatives for like the last 12 minutes, and they were the longest 12 minutes of my life.
Detroit, not a track that gets a whole lot of use anymore. How familiar were you coming into this race with BELLE?
To be honest, usually every week I'll buy the next track if I don't already have it, and I'll run some laps after, like tonight. Like I'll probably run some laps, but we'll see. So I had no really experience other than the laps that I ran last week, but I like them, like the street tracks or the street courses that are narrow and tight, and I don't know, there's just something about them. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Miami, and that's the type of track I enjoy because you got to be a little bit more smarter, and it helps me not over push the car. So I had a lot of fun here. As much as people didn't like this track, I thought it was great. I finished with the 0X and ran a pretty flawless race, I'd say.
Like
Hey, Cody, Rich here.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Rich.
those people are wrong, Cody. So that's all. I'll shut up now.
I was gonna say you can join the Street Club Lover track here. Richard and I are a part of it. We love basically every street circuit. It's a whole different strategy game. But we head to Sebring next week in the rain. How comfortable are you feeling heading there and doing rain racing?
I'll be honest, keep my head down, take my time, and just hope everyone else wrecks out. That's the goal for next week. There's not a, I mean, them rain races.
School of driving there, I love it.
Exactly, them rain races, man. That's a whole nother animal to try to conquer. And I'm just trying to learn how to drive it on a dry track, and yeah, adding the rain to it just makes it that much harder. But I don't know, I might end up enjoying it.
Yeah, when you throw the rain on Sebring with it being, well, it's a bumpy track like tonight, Detroit BELLE. You can get a lot of puddling at Sebring just because you have those bumps and grooves where the water kind of sits in there and puddles. So we'll see how you do next week. Get yourself a ton of practice in all the different rain conditions you could possibly see, from monsoon to just a little bit of spray, and hopefully we see you back at the Sharp and again next week and the week following here to wrap up the season. But before we let you go here, Cody, anybody want to give a shout out that helps you maybe prep each week or cheers you on?
For sure. I want to give you a shout out. You know, I watch you guys during the race, or at least listen to you guys, and you guys really helped me make a decision on my pit when you started saying the lower times, and I'm like, okay, so let's turn the tires off. We cannot take tires. So definitely a shout out to you guys. You guys were another little voice in my ear that helped me out this race. Oath Racing for letting me race for the team and spearhead this organization and try to push it to be something. Red Dragon, Lycan Forge 3D, Ulti Energy, and then FMA for putting on these races every week. I really enjoy it.
Excellent stuff, Cody. Well, best of luck heading into the final two rounds, and hopefully we're talking to you again after the finishes of the next one. Take care, and best of luck heading forward.
Y'all have a great night.
That was our third place finisher in AM class, Cody Deek, and that's going to wrap things up here in Detroit. Rich, give us your closing thoughts here on the race.
Well, very impressed with the racing, the quality of the racing. A little disappointed that there weren't more incidents, Rob, to be honest with you. Or maybe not disappointed, a little surprised, a lot surprised. But the drivers obviously were patient and did their homework. And I think I only saw one or two instances of cars contacting others causing incidents. So overall, great race.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with the gentlemanly racing we saw here tonight. It's one of those things, street circuits can be so tight, and one little mistake can cause not only yourself, but 3, 4, 5 drivers to get wrapped up in that incident. Thankfully, we didn't see any of that, but we probably aren't going to see much of that we saw tonight at Sebring next week in the rain-rich, bumpy track, wet track. The walls aren't too far away at Sebring. Looking forward to that one, and then wrapping things up at, I guess, another half street circuit at Mount Panorama. You got the walls heading up and down the hill, so it'll be interesting to see it wrapping up double points there as well. And I think they've implemented you can't drop that race too as well. I'll have to double check that, but I think they've added that on to this season as well. So we'll have to look forward to that one, Rich. But that's going to do it for us here at Detroit. Wrapping up on the streets of Belle Isle. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place, for the penultimate round of the FMA Alpha Reinforcing GT3 series here on Racer Nexus. Until then, bye for now.